Hello. Shop talk. You guys with me? Check it out. I'm going to put this on real quick and make sure that my audio's working. You guys can hear me okay? I know I look a little funky with these headphones on, but check it out. I want to make sure that you can hear me all right. So, been kind of strung out trying to wait for going live. Anyway, so I wanted to welcome you today to Shop Talk, and I have a pretty good show planned for tonight. Again, I'm not a mechanic or anything like that. Shop Talk is basically talking about cars and shows and past events and upcoming events and maybe things that might be in the news with cars. But I wanted to go ahead first of all and tell you, hey, check it out. What do you think of my new hat? It is Brink of Speed, one of my favorite YouTube channels. It's called Brink of Speed. The guy basically specializes in Corvette content, and I've been watching the guy for several years. He's actually one of the reasons why I do what I do, because he has inspired me to do that. And I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, this mobile, I use my iPhone for this view right here, and for some reason it likes to freeze up on me. So I don't know why, but you'll see me switching back and forth between the two. I think it's kind of cool to have a different view for you guys, and I switch back and forth just to change it up. But I also wanted to do something really quick, and you won't be able to hear me talk because I'm going to get up from the desk. But I wanted to show you. Remember how I told you a couple weeks ago, normally what happens is when I tell you about something coming up, it usually happens like the next day. That's usually the way my timing works on everything, and I don't know why it works out like that. But last week on the wall back here behind me, I had let's see, where am I at? Right here on the wall is a spot for a photograph, and over here is a photograph that I had from last year's Camaro Fest. And that's on the drag strip. And this year I already had a frame bought and hanging on the wall with a generic photo in it from the store. And the next day I got this really cool photo in the mail. And so then I put it in the frame. And I'm going to attempt to take my camera over there, my phone camera over there, and give you a close-up of this photograph because it's really cool. So I'm going to step away from the mic. And again, if the camera locks up on me, I apologize for that. I've been trying to figure out with the software why it freezes up, and hopefully I can get that figured out and we can change that so it doesn't happen all the time. But I'm going to show you that photograph, and then I'm also going to show you the Brink of Speed t-shirt that I got in the mail yesterday, and it goes along with my hat. So again, here's my hat, Brink of Speed, BOS. If you haven't checked out Brink of Speed, check them out. They're awesome. They're my buddies. And again, I'm going to get up right now with my camera, walk over, and try to show you that photograph on the wall. It's my photograph that I ordered from the NCM road course down by National Corvette Museum. So I'm going to show you that, and then I'll come back to the microphone. And like I said, I knew it was going to freeze up on me, but I was pretty much done showing you that anyway. There at the last, I had was trying to show you the T-shirt that I got from Brink of Speed. I'm going to go ahead and leave my headset on because then I know that you're hearing what I'm saying. So anyway, moving forward from there, let's go ahead and start talking about the things that I did over the last couple of weeks since my last live. And then we will move into what news I have and upcoming shows and news that's also happening. So anyway, let's start with August 15th and 16th. So, July was a extremely busy month for me. Like, it was crazy busy. And for those of you that don't know, I work a lot. So I work like between 55 and 60 hours a week, which is a lot for an old man, but I've gotten used to it over the years, and it's just my lifestyle, and that's what I do. So, but I also I've been trying to get this YouTube channel up and running and going. And again, thanks everybody for your support on Music Man's Garage. I got a couple of new and exciting things coming up in the next couple of weeks that I'd love to share with you. But right now, we're going to just talk about the last couple weeks, and then we're going to move forward into what's coming up. So literally the 15th and 16th of August, I actually put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything social media. I didn't post anything on Instagram. I didn't put anything up on YouTube. I think I had something already scheduled to be released, which was great because I didn't do anything. I just absolutely took a break from everything. All I did was, sit around the house and sleep, and absolutely took a break, and it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I needed it. I needed to decompress and just kind of catch up on my rest, and that's what I did. So anyway, then the following week, which was last weekend, was August 22nd. Is that right? August 22nd? Let me double check. Let's see. August 22nd and the 23rd, yes. So on the 22nd, they go to the drag strip. Berger Auto Sales, or Chevrolet Sales up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, has a big event over the weekend. And on Friday night, they went to the drag strip. Everybody goes out there and hangs out and runs their car down the strip a few times. And then Saturday is basically the main car show. And Berger Auto Sales has been around for a long time. And I'm gonna share this with you real quick. Let's see if I can get this going on. So this is celebrating 100 years, at Berger Performance, Power, and Passion for all things Chevrolet. So I was able to go to that show. I've gone to this show like 3 or 4 times. Now, I mean, 4 or 5 times, I guess I've been there, and it's awesome. Like 28th Street is where Berger is at in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and people sit all up and down both sides of the road. They have, like, some people bring their grill, some people bring their camper. They do like it's almost like a tailgate party out next to the road. And they just literally sit on the side of the road and watch all these cars go up and down the road. It's like a massive cruise. Now, if you know anything about Michigan, you know that the week before that is the Woodward Dream Cruise, it's called. And that's up over by Detroit. I've never been to that, but I've got several friends that have gone to that, and they love it. And they say that sometimes there's about 40,000 cars that do that. And it actually goes from one city to another city. It's so long and huge. And it literally is just, people cruising. But Berger Auto Sales does the same thing, and it's a lot smaller. It's a lot smaller scale type thing. But I was able to go to this show, and it was fantastic. And it was also called the final show because they decided after 100 years that they needed to stop doing it because it was literally, it's a huge task. If you can imagine with me for a minute, if you have a dealership and you have, 400 or 500 cars on your lot, you have to move all those cars, make room for the car show to come in, and then on Monday morning you have to basically go and set the whole dealership back up, move all the cars back into place. And that's a huge task for them to do all that. And then move everything back to where it needs to be on Monday morning for business as usual. So if you can just imagine the work that goes into putting on a show like this at a dealership, it's a massive undertaking. Now, Berger Auto Sales is also, they have been making performance and drag strip cars since the 60s and 70s, since the late 60s when they started making Camaros. They specialized in the Camaro and everything, and so they literally have all these cars that they've made, and people have purchased them over the years. Well, what happened is when they did that, then when they have these shows, they send out an invitation to the people that own these cars, and they invite them to bring these cars up and display these cars. And so if you see a car that says by Berger on it, that means that it has been heavily modified by Berger. It's kind of similar to the Yenko and the Hennessy and things of that nature, where they get a few cars, they make them a performance version of their idea, and then they put their name on it. And Berger has been doing that for 100 years, like a long time. This car show's been going on. Now, this car show is pretty special to me because I ended up running across this car show maybe 10 or 12 years ago. I was invited up to Grand Rapids to play music for the weekend. One of my friends has a country band, and they needed a drummer for the weekend, and they called me and asked me if I could fill in. So I was able to do that. And in between Friday night and Saturday night playing music, I got up and my wife and I went out to go get lunch, and we ended up coming across the All GM show because it was happening, and we're like, wow, this is cool. They're cruising up and down the road and hanging out, and all these people are having a blast, and so I instantly fell in love with that car show. And I went back a couple other times, and then in 23 I was able to go up there with my convertible LT1 Camaro, and I went up there for the day and had a blast. And then last year I went up with my SS1LE, and then of course I went back up there again this year. When I found out this was the last show, I was a little bit disappointed because I love this show. But the thing of it is I totally understand why these people have decided, it's time for us to hang up put our shiny gloves back on the shelf and call it quits, because it's a major undertaking. But anyway, that's what I did last week. And I'm just gonna lay something else out to you here real quick. I have a video that I've been working on for that show, and literally about an hour before I went live on Shop Talk, I tried to download it to the internet, and for some reason there's something going on with my computer and I lost a bunch of data. So I'm honestly has been pretty frustrated for the last hour or so leading up to right now, because you don't understand. Sometimes it's a task and it's a job almost in itself to do the YouTube thing. And there are times when things go really good, and there are other times like now when things aren't going really good. But if you stick around, if you stay tuned or check back to my channel, eventually you will find a video about the Berger 100 anniversary final show, because I do have a video in the making for that show. So I wanted to just go ahead and show you a couple photographs, and let me do that real quick. This is one of their builds that they had. Believe this is a Copo Berger, Copo by Berger or whatever. It's a Copo plus it's a Berger. I don't know. Here is a 2025 ZR1 that was on the floor. I'll just show you a little bit of a clip. This is inside. The interior is absolutely insane. Like, the whole thing is red. Like, I don't think there's anything in there that's black other than maybe some plastic pieces or whatever. But I wanted to show you that real quick. That's from the passenger side. It's the first time I ever got to see a ZR1, which is pretty exciting. But this car is insane. Now I got another video over here. Let me show you this one here too. I'll mute it so you don't have to hear anything. But like, this car is, I just kind of stood there in awe of it, because the carbon fiber everywhere on the inside, the 100% plush red velvet, whatever you call it, leather combination of interior. It's just insane cool. Like, I can't even explain to you how cool it is other than trying to show you this photograph. But then, they have many other cars. Again, these cars are basically on the showroom floor by invitation from Berger, because again, these cars are built, people buy them. And then when they have these shows, Berger invites them to bring the cars back and put them on display. So most of the Berger cars were inside the dealership, and I went ahead and went through a walkthrough through this because it rained for a little while, and so while it was raining, a lot of us were inside checking out all the cars that were inside. Now, we go back outside and you can see where the ground is wet. Now this car right here, this is really cool because I talked to this lady sitting back here in the chair, she bought this car. Not only did she buy this car brand new, but she ordered it, and she's had it for 50 years. And so that's pretty crazy cool, I think. And so, you just run across a lot of people that are seriously into cars and stuff. So I just wanted to show you a couple photos. This is a video that I used for part of my video. You'll see more of that later. But these are some of the current race cars that they use, where they like I said, they have a drag strip just outside of Grand Rapids, just a little south of Grand Rapids. So they're still active doing that. And this is one of the cars that they take down there to the drag strip. So this show it's pretty magnificent, and I just wanted to kind of share those with you a little bit so that you could see what I'm talking about. But well, let's go back. I'm going to go back to this. I ran into this young man here. He's from, I think he lives in South Carolina. And he also has become a real quick friend. This guy right here. I took a photograph of this guy because of all of his checkered clothes, checkered shorts, socks, even checkered black and white checkered sunglasses and hats. And of course, this is his Hot Wheels version of a Camaro, which I'm sure he loves a lot. So, again, I have just a little bit of drone footage to show you, just to kind of give you an idea about how big this car show is and was. And again, if you check back in a few days, I'm sure I'll figure out a way to get that video downloaded to my YouTube channel. Just check back with Music Man's Garage, and I'm sure you'll find it eventually. But just wanted to show you a couple of those. And then I saw this beautiful competition yellow. Again, also a ZR1, which is pretty amazing. It's a 3LZ, and the reason I know that is because of the yellow stitching in the seats. And it's just absolutely magnificent. The gentleman that owned it was standing behind the car. You can't actually see him in the photograph. He was standing up talking to this gentleman here. But so yeah, it was a fantastic show. Again, I'm a little sad to see it go because it has a special place in my heart. I was going to this show before I ever had a muscle car. And so I was excited to be able to go in 23, 24, and 25, 3 years in a row with an actual car of my own, which is pretty exciting. So I just wanted to kind of show you a couple photographs of that real quick so that you could see exactly what I got to see last weekend. It was fantastic. Sad to see it go. Then moving forward, let's talk about what's coming up. We have some exciting stuff coming up, right? So obviously this weekend is Labor Day weekend coming up. And we are going to have Cars and Coffee on Saturday. I think there's an extra Cars and Coffee here locally on Monday to, celebrate Labor Day. The company that Big B Coffee here in Fort Wayne that puts on the Cars and Coffee show, they have a couple of different locations. So on holidays they always make sure and have another event to have more time to come out and hang out and show your car off or whatever. So that's pretty cool. And then for me, one of the best things that I do all year, and again, I guess it's going to probably make up for Berger stopping their car show. And one thing that I will say real quick too before I move on again is I'm sad to see Berger go and stop having car shows. But I'm also excited because it always conflicted with something else that I eventually want to go do, and that is I want to eventually go to Corvettes of Carlisle. And Corvettes of Carlisle is in Pennsylvania, and it happens the same exact weekend as what the show did up at Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I guess I'm a little bit torn up that Berger's going out, but I also know that I'll be able to, go to Corvettes of Carlisle, and I won't be torn between where to go and what to do because I'll have that to go to. Again, I don't have a Corvette yet, but maybe in the next couple of years I will. And then I can go out there. They say there's about 7,000 Corvettes there at Corvettes of Carlisle. And hopefully one day I'll be able to meet my friends there from Brink of Speed. Again, if you haven't checked out Brink of Speed on YouTube, make sure you check it out. I just got this hat. I'm pretty excited about it. So anyway, so the other thing is September 5th and September 6th. Actually, it happens on the 6th, which is the Saturday after Labor Day weekend, is the Fall Classic. The Fall Classic last year was incredible. It was the 30th anniversary Fall Classic for the Northeastern Ohio Camaro Club, and I am a member of that club, and I'm excited to go back for the second year in a row, and I can't hardly wait because there is usually 250, 300, 350 cars there, all Camaros. And it's called the Fall Classic. So I get to go back over there and hang out with a bunch of my friends and hang out and check out cars. And then, of course, in the evening, they have an incredible catered-in dinner and an auction. So if you haven't checked out the Fall Classic in Akron, Ohio, the car show takes place at Summit Racing, behind Summit Racing in the parking lot. So if you're in the area, make sure you come over and check it out and hang out with us for a little bit and see all the beautiful cars. Looking forward to that. That's one of the highlights of my summer. I can't hardly wait. It's a pretty laid-back event. But they do some serious judging over there, so it's gonna be a fantastic show. Now, a couple of my friends from that club, they both have first gen Camaros, and they have been invited to put their cars inside Summit Racing. They have a couple of turntables in there, and they have been invited to put their cars inside. So again, I'm excited about that. Reconnecting with my friends and hanging out. So Camaro Fall Classic, September 6th coming up. And basically, after that I'll have another live. So I'm not sure what's coming up in September later on in the month. I do know out a little bit further, the first weekend of October is another amazing show that I like to go to down in Anderson. My friend Diane and Casey O'Brien, they put that car show on. So I'm looking forward to going to that show. That's in October. But like I said, again, I'll have another live between now and then. The first week of 2 weeks out. Like I said, I do this every other week because I just can't do it every week at all. I have too much going on. So I wanted to go over that stuff with you real quick, and then let's move into the news that I have. With all the new releases of the Corvette, the Z06, everybody's crazy about the Z06. Then they came out with the ZR1 and then the ZR1X. And then a week later, they're like, well, you think that's cool? Check out the ZR1X Quail Edition, which they're only making 100 of those with the special matte silver paint job or covering on it or whatever. Special edition, only 100 of those being made. And then they decided, well, guess what? You think that's cool. You should see the 2,000 horsepower C9 concept car. Again, I have videos of that on my channel. If you are interested in checking that stuff out, make sure you check that stuff out and hit the thumbs up. I appreciate any time that you watch one of my videos. If you hit the thumbs up, that lets YouTube know that you like what you see, and maybe even leave a comment about it or what sticks out to you and what you like about it the most. And eventually, hopefully, somebody will, like on these lives that I do. It's a little bit weird talking to a camera. and nobody really chats back, but you know, you can still chat. You know, you can hit me up with a chat in the comment and let me know where you're from, what kind of car you have, what is your dream car, how long have you been watching Shop Talk, how long you've been subscribed to Music Man's Garage, whatever. Any of those little tidbits would be interesting for me to see that, and it would help me know where to go with my channel, if you will. So anyway, moving along, moving into what is in the news right now in the Corvette or the car world. GM has recently put a recall out on the Z06 and the ZR1. Now, the recall is, according to the recall, and I have the number right here in front of me, N252514930. It says certain 2023 to 2026 model Chevy Corvette Z06 and ZR1 units, which are equipped with a left side radiator fan combination, are affected by a condition where excess fuel spilled into the fuel filler pocket can leak down on an ignition source. The hazard when this happens, fuel spilling onto an ignition source, such as in this case, increases the risk of a fire. What? Are you kidding me? Well, I have seen a couple of photographs of cars that were at the fuel pump and literally burned to the ground. I had every intention of getting a couple of those photos and sharing them with you, and I forgot. I didn't find them. I didn't get them, and I don't have them to share with you right now. But anyway, the fix to solve this issue, dealers will install and insert a shield to divert fuel that may cause spilled into the fuel filter pocket. So they say here's a list on here that shows exactly what cars are affected. The 2023 Corvette Z06, the 24 Corvette Z06, the 25 Corvette Z06, and the 26 Corvette Z06. Now, I don't know how many of those have actually been delivered because they just started making the 26. Literally like 2 weeks ago, they started building the model year 26. Now, the 2025 Corvette ZR1 and the 26 Corvette ZR1 are also affected, okay? The Corvette ZR1 25s, they only made 110 of those, so it will be real easy for them to get those back into the dealership. The other thing is that GM Chevy dealers are not allowed to sell these cars, any more of these cars, until this problem is fixed. So they have put a stop order on selling these cars because of this hazard. And so the GM dealers will send out a letter to the people that own these cars. They will let them know, hey, there is a hazard, a fire hazard when you're fueling your car. And the other thing it says, make sure you don't leave your car run while you're fueling it up, because that's when it happens. The fuel spills over onto the ignition and it ignites. And so make sure you follow the proper fueling advice per the owner's manual when you're fueling these cars. Otherwise, your car could burn to the ground, and we don't want that, do we? So I just wanted to make sure that I brought this up. And again, the GM recall number is N like Nancy, 2525-14930. I got the letter from GM explaining this recall. So, and I wanted to share that with you today, and make sure that you were aware of what's going on. So it's important that if you have one of these cars, that you get your car in there right away and get it fixed. Have them fix it for you. So I wanted to go over that with you real quick. And apparently there have been quite a few recalls lately on GM trucks, SUVs, and so if you do have a GM of any kind, car, truck, SUV, Cadillac, whatever, make sure you check it out with your VIN number with your dealership to find out if there's any sort of recall at all on your car. So I just wanted to bring that up and show you that and talk about it real quick before I moved on. So I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate you hanging out with me today on Music Man's Garage. Again, I have been extremely frustrated. I tried to download a video today from the last show at Berger Auto Sales, and for whatever reason, something's going on with my computer, so I have to figure that out. But I will eventually get that video out, and I will plan on seeing you back here in 2 weeks for Shop Talk. And I hope that if you get a chance to, make sure you come over to Summit Racing on the September the 6th for the Fall Classic. You'll see 250 to 350 Camaros, like a ton. So make sure you come and hang out with us. Say hi to Music Man. And again, like I said, I have some really good, exciting news coming up. I've had somebody actually design my logo that I'm going to be using on Music Man's Garage from here on out. So I'll probably end up getting hats and T-shirts and things like that put on my channel for sale once I get that taken care of. I'm in the process of getting that developed, and I'm supposed to go on Thursday to pick up some things from there. So make sure that you check back in a couple weeks. I'm sure I'll have that update for you then. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today at Music Man's Garage during Shop Talk. I appreciate it, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Music Man, I'm out.